So there's this question that I've heard a number of times asking, must every woman have an alternative skill, like a vocational skill or practical skill, or what we call in Nigeria handwork, baking, sewing, jewelry, all those vocational skills. And they're saying, must every woman have one of those skills that is more like entrepreneurial in nature, not a professional skill like something you study in school and all that? Must every woman have one of those? It also comes to the question of, well, it's like some professions are not built for women and some professions are better for women. I've heard people say, teaching is more of a woman's profession because it aligns with what they need to do at home. It gives them time to do what they need to do at home, things like that. So it's like there are some skills or professions that are better suited for women, administrators, secretaries, instead of being bankers, instead of being engineers and things like that. So they're saying, some professions are better suited for women because of their domestic duties. It also comes down to this thing of, should women be working outside the home? Some people believe that once a woman starts a family, she should stay more at home and all that, and women shouldn't really be working outside the home. So let's talk about it. Well, if you've listened to me long enough, then you may have heard me say that I believe that every woman will reach the point where she has to make a choice between her profession or job and her family. And I've had this whole argument of, it's nature versus nurture, that this whole thing that some people call nature, about women being the natural nurturers at home and all that it's really not so, that it's because of the way we've been brought up. Somebody even went as far as telling me that, there was a time when human civilization started that most of the jobs were external. And so what you had was men had to go and hunt, men had to go and fight wars and things like that. And most of those jobs had to do with physical strength. And so the women stayed at home while the men went out to work. But today, most of the jobs have to do with mental capacity. And so you find out that more women can do the work. That's one argument. However, this is the thing. I believe that to clearly define what the role of something is, you have to go back to the beginning of things. And a lot of it has to do with your own world view. So a lot of people who carry this nurture argument are agnostic, are atheistic, and all that. Their view of the world is that we're here, we determine everything. But if you're someone like me that carries a theist worldview, a worldview that God created everything and created them for a reason, and that he put things on earth to function in a certain way, then you would have a slightly different perspective. Before I go into the theist worldview and what my opinion really is about that, let me just talk about the fact that we study animals, whether agnostic, scientific, gnostic, theist, whatever. We study animals to find out how they live. In the animal kingdom, for example, amongst lions, we know, it's a given thing that lionesses, the female lions, are the ones that go out to hunt. And when they hunt and kill the prey, typically the male lion has to come, the male lion in the pride has to come and eat what he wants. And when he has had his fill, the female lion and the cubs now have what they want. Now, I'm not saying that that's how human beings should be, but we've studied lions to the extent that we understand that this is the pattern that they work on. But with human beings, we are always trying to argue that there's no fixed way of doing things, that we have to keep evolving and evolving and evolving. But here's the thing. Have you ever thought about the fact that this whole women's role, men's role thing is not an African thing? It's an age-long argument. The developed world still has those arguments. Developing nations, or what they call developing nations, still have those arguments. It's not about where you are. And so you have to start to think that, is it that this thing is really ingrained in the nature of women? Let me leave that for you to think about, and then go back to the way things were and the way things were made. Look, women were made for a certain purpose. Women and men are clearly different. Men cannot nurture a baby. If you go with that argument that I presented before and say, oh, the jobs required physical strength, and that was why the men went out to work while the women sat at home. No, I don't agree totally. And this is the reason. First of all, there's that part that is true that, of course, men had more physical strength and some jobs require more physical strength than others. But we've seen in many societies that women are able to develop some of those skills and do what they want to do if need be. So if it's a matter of physical strength, women can do some of those things. But if a group of women is going against a group of men, obviously the men will overpower them. So if we're talking in places where we like fighting wars and all that, because most of the fighting population is going to be men, you can't send a group of women against a group of men. That's going to be an unfair fight. So you'll find out that men will go against the men while the women stay back. And why do the women stay back? Typically because there are children at home to nurture. Now, when there are children at home to nurture, the woman is better suited to nurture a child. It's a woman who gets pregnant. Is a pregnant woman going to go out fighting? Is a pregnant woman going to go out and start digging and doing all this? Physically, she's incapacitated at that point. When she has the baby, if we say that anybody can play any role, men could have stayed back at home. When she finally has the baby, a man cannot breastfeed a baby. A man cannot nurture a newborn baby. It is a woman that can still nurture the baby. So it is the woman that will still stay at home and breastfeed the baby, nurture the baby, take care of the baby. She's the incubator. She's built for that. She will nurture that baby, take care of the baby until the baby is a certain age where they can grow up and, at least survive on their own to a large extent. And so it's not just a matter of, it was because of physical strength. No, practically and by nature, there are some things that men cannot do within the household. A man cannot carry pregnancy. It's a woman that can carry pregnancy. A woman has the body to incubate a baby, and then after the baby is born, she has the body to nurture a baby. So nurturing and incubation come naturally to women. Fixing house, doing everything that has to do with nurturing, creating space, it comes naturally to us as women. Men are not wired that way. And like I said at the beginning, it will always come to a point where you will have to choose between that work that you love to do and your family. At some point when you are growing a family, you're going to get to that point where you have to choose. And the reason is simple. Like I explained in one of my videos where I spoke about woman having it all. I said that everything requires time. To build a career and build a business and all that requires time and presence. To build a family and nurture a family requires time and presence. You cannot be in two spaces at the same time. So at some point, you're going to say, okay, you know what? My career has to take a backseat, or my job or my profession or whatever has to take a backseat while I nurture my family. Or you will say, you know what? I'm giving up on this family. Somebody else should do it. I'm going to work. You have to choose one. So my point is, you have to be prepared for that time. Now, I've seen many people who cannot make the choice to leave their career because they don't have anything else. They can't do anything else. All they know is that profession that they have. They've done school, they've studied banking, they've built a career in banking, they've done all that. That's all they know. And they've built such a big income out of it that they cannot go back and just sit down. Obviously, they need to earn something. They feel they have no other monetizable skills. And I'll explain why I said they feel that they have no other monetizable skills that they can use to earn a living. And so it's very important, I think, that because a woman is going to have to get to that point where she has to choose, it's very important that a woman has a skill that is monetizable and that is in demand. An alternative skill to just having a profession. And guess what? Most times we already have them. We just don't know we have them. When I was growing up, I thought I was a bookie. I thought I was made for the academic world only and professional world only. I thought I had no skill. And the reason I thought I had no skill was because some of the skills I had, I thought everybody has them. I sing. I thought everybody can sing. I cook. Everybody can cook. Just go to the kitchen and cook. But as I grew up, it was when I got to university that I experienced my first shock. I found out that not everybody can cook. Not everybody is able to do that. So being able to cook well is a special skill. And it comes naturally to most of us as women because we are taught it, we learn it at home. So we have a lot of monetizable skills, but in case that you feel you don't have one, then you should pick up something, or maybe the one you have is not one you're interested in. Not everybody likes to cook. I don't have a problem cooking personally. That's not an invite for you to come to my house, but I don't have a problem cooking. I don't mind, especially when I have guests or not. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy that thing of serving the food and then people are saying, oh yeah, this is so nice. I love that satisfaction that people get from eating good food. I love it. And so I can cook, and I don't have a problem with it. I can cook for 30 people, no headache, but not everybody enjoys that. So if it's baking you enjoy, go ahead and do it. If it's tailoring you enjoy, do it. At least learn it to the extent that you are good enough to start something with it. It's a good enough place for you to start something with. And so I believe that every woman, because of the dual role that we have to play, women are smart. We can function in the workplace, we can function at home. And many times, because of our role, our nurturing role within the family, we'll find out that we're going to have to nurture at home at some point once we start building a family. And in that point, you're going to be hampered from going out and spending so much time out. But there are many things that you can do from your home. Today, tech has even made it much easier. I'm running this video from my home. A lot of people have mobile phones. They can do a lot of things from their phone. You can write books, you can do remote work, a lot of things from your phone and a laptop right from your house. So you don't even have to go out anymore. But in case you're not that way inclined, or you want to have control over your time, because working for yourself gives you control over your time. It doesn't give you more time, it just gives you control. You can decide, oh yeah, I'm taking this order, I'm not taking that order. Then you can pick up a skill. So yes, I agree. You should have a monetizable skill that you can control by yourself and that you can work on from within your own space. I believe every woman needs it, because at some point, if you're starting a family, you're going to be asked that question, not by anyone, but by life. And your ability to answer it is going to be based on the number of monetizable skills that you have, the options that are open to you. So yes, I think every woman should have an alternative skill. Did you learn something in this video? Tell me in the comments below. Remember to like this video, to share it with somebody who will find it useful, and definitely remember to subscribe to my channel. Would you like to join a thriving community of women where we hold discussions and carry out activities to help one another thrive, we celebrate one another and things like that? Then click the link in the description below to join the Valiant Women's Network. Till I come your way again next time. Ciao!